Let's just go ahead and get into it. So this 24-year-old man named Scott lost his life to this person of interest. You might be thinking, oh, what a respectful man wearing their mask in public. But this criminal wasn't wearing a mask to protect from COVID-19 because this happened before the pandemic, before anyone was wearing a mask. A year after Scott's death, police released this bizarre footage of our criminal running around town with a mask on their face and duct tape covering the logo on their backpack. Whoever did this was fully prepared to take Scott's life. But why? That's the mystery here and why police have made zero progress. So let's get into it. Before we get into this story, I want to give you guys some background on why I'm talking about this. We're trying to bring more awareness to this because Scott deserves justice. I actually personally know Scott because we grew up in the same town, we went to school together, we actually even had classes together. We weren't ever really friends. I mean, I really didn't have any friends in high school. He was one of the popular kids, but he was one of those nice popular kids, and everyone was Scott's friend because he was just so friendly.
This is Scott Ratigan coming to you live from Radford University. What's your name, sir?
Gonzalez.
Let's see here. What were you for Halloween there, guy?
I'm a college student.
Oh, you were a college student for Halloween? What's your major here?
Communication.
How's that going for you?
Still pretty well.
Are you gonna vote this year?
Yeah.
Alright, good talk, dude.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah.
As we've gotten older, we have grown up, we went to college, we got careers, but unfortunately, Scott's life came to a halt in January 2020. So let's go ahead and talk about this incident because Scott seems like the last person to get because he is a young professional. He was doing well in his career. He had a really nice apartment at this building called the Ava in Boston. This is actually a huge building that I used to live across the street from. So every time I would go outside walking my dog, I would think about Scott and that person who took his life. So the Ava, where Scott was living, is a pretty large building. There are about 21 floors with over 30 apartments on each floor, with about 1,000 people living in the building, mostly young professionals just like Scott. It's a really nice building. It's not like it's scary to live there. And actually, later on in this video, I will be taking you guys there because I drove there to show you guys how easy it is to break inside the building and how they haven't improved any of their security measures since Scott's passing. But everything went down on Friday, January 17th, 2020, when the police were called right around 5:30 p.m. One of the reasons why I take this case so personally is because I was there when the police showed up to his apartment. I normally walk my dog after work time, and I remember this day. It was a Friday. It was after work time. I was walking my dog around, and I saw a bunch of EMTs and police officers, and honestly, I thought it was a domestic situation because there is a lot of domestic things going on around where I live, like a lot of partners fighting and such, but it was far from it. And I had no idea that the person who lost their life in the building right next to me was someone who I grew up with. So this is when things start getting weird because dispatch audio says there were 4 people in the apartment and no weapon was seen. They were told the reason why Scott passed away was due to upper body trauma, releasing little information about the crime or suspects. I'm so stuck on the fact that there were 4 people in the apartment when police showed up because in this building there were only 2-bedroom apartments, and I know that Scott was living with his sister at the time, so maybe his sister was there, his longtime girlfriend who he dated for about I think 9 years on and off was maybe there. But when police showed up to his apartment, they were responding to a report of a man in cardiac arrest. Later on, a medical examiner ruled that it was not cardiac arrest, but rather someone took his life with the use of trauma to the upper body. This is another bizarre thing in the case because everything went down on Friday and they considered it all cardiac arrest until the following Tuesday. This is when police announced that Scott's death was more than just cardiac arrest and something they need to look into. When this story first broke out, a lot of people were expecting an arrest a few days later because they're like, hold up, this man in a very popular area in town at a very popular building with a lot of people living there had his life just taken, and this person could escape with no video footage, no evidence. Like, how does this happen? I was reading on some blog websites, and back when this happened, a lot of people believed that this was going to be solved very quickly. This person wrote, "This one ain't going to end up being aired on Unsolved Mysteries, that's for sure." Another person wrote, "I also predict this will be solved quickly. The police aren't out doing a manhunt for a suspect. It's probably someone already in their crosshairs." Another person wrote, "I'm predicting we'll see an arrest come sooner than later in this case. Just my opinion." Well, all of these people have the wrong opinions because they were posting this right when the incident went down, and then a year goes by, and then some more months go by, and we still haven't heard anything. So let me break down to you guys what we know so far. So we know on Friday 17th, 2020, Scott was last seen in his apartment by himself. Based off his friends, they claimed the last time they heard from him was around 1 p.m. We also know there were 4 people in that apartment, which 2 I expect to be his girlfriend and his sister, and we also know that the apartment smelled like bleach. Let me play a little news clip for you guys where they describe some of this.
Off the top at 11, reports of the smell of bleach in the home of a man the police now say was murdered in Northern Virginia.
We just got an audio clip today of rescuers responding to the scene. Here it is.
24-year-old male. No weapons were seen. There are a total of 4 people in the apartment. Also noted that it smells like bleach.
This sort of thing never happens, not only in this particular building, but in this particular location. For the most part, this apartment building seems to be relatively safe.
And this building here is pretty new. There appear to be lots of surveillance cameras like the one here right in front of the building. It's unclear if any of those people that were inside of the apartment are considered suspects. Police have not put out much information at all about this.
So towards the end of that clip, you would have seen that they zoomed in on a camera at that building, assuming that all of these cameras everywhere, because there are cameras everywhere in this city, that someone could have captured this person running away or, going at least to Scott's apartment to take his life. On one of those blog websites, a resident of the building shared their thoughts on what's actually going on. They wrote, "Regarding security, there was a meeting over the weekend between residents, police, and the building management. In that meeting, it was told to us the camera security system was not accessible from the main desk on the day of the incident." They continued, "There was also a pretty significant building renovation that was finished last summer. Some of the cameras still had plastic wrap on them 1 month ago. I can't imagine those were functioning. It is very easy to tailgate onto the building without a key fob, and nothing is needed to access individual floors." This is actually still the case at the building. You would think that they would have maybe increased their security measures, but that same day that everything went down, the news actually went and spoke to some people from the building and talked to one of his neighbors.
I was home when a happened 2 doors down from me. Oh my God, it was right there. It's like my brother found his LinkedIn account and he just graduated college, he's 24. I mean, it's just so sad.
So there was something odd I noticed about this news coverage versus the one we just recently watched. So in that first one, you guys heard the dispatcher talk about the smell of bleach and such. Well, in this clip, for some reason, they included audio from the dispatcher where they gave some more detail on what happened to Scott. So keep in mind, at first, we thought it was cardiac arrest because he was just knocked out and we were in a clean apartment that smells like bleach. But hearing more of the dispatch audio, we learn that there was actually blood coming from his mouth, hands, and neck. We don't exactly know where, but his mouth, hands, and neck. I mean, hands would suggest that he fought back, and mouth and neck, I don't even know. But if he got some blunt trauma to the upper chest, we can only assume that there was something used to, cut him open.
Initially, Ratigan's death was ruled as cardiac arrest, though listening to the police dispatch call, we can hear disturbing details that paint a much different picture.
It's going to be for a 24-year-old male with blood coming from his mouth, hands, and neck. No weapons were seen. There are a total of 4 people in the apartment. Also noted that it smells like bleach.
So other than that additional dispatch audio, we really don't have much to work with. The police did tell the public that there was no immediate threat, which would mean that they knew a little bit more about their suspect than they were actually telling us if it wasn't just some guy going around and, taking people's lives. There are so many questions I have for police, like where is his phone? What about his texts? What about his bank accounts? Like, follow the money. This person suggests that police should look at his Venmo, his PayPal, all of his charges, because that would lead them to their criminal. So the police give us nothing to work with, which I think is problematic because Scott grew up around here. People know him. People are ready to help out. We don't understand the motive at all. Like, why would someone want to go and take his life? Like, this is the type of guy who goes and has happy hours with his professional friends. He's chilling. He doesn't have substance issues. And actually, we know that it's not related to substances because his father claims it's not. Scott's father specifically said in an interview that this was not a drug-related thing. I couldn't find that original video, but I do remember watching it because he was outside his home and talking to the news station, which my parents' home is so close to Scott's parents' home. It's just so, it's so sad reading this story because it could really happen to anyone you grew up with. But here's a little clip from that interview of his father speaking.
He was a great kid, and it's very unfortunate, and anybody in the Arlington community that saw anything or heard anything should talk to the Arlington County detectives who are working tirelessly to help us resolve this.
So other than that, the case goes cold. And then the corona pandemic happens. Everyone's so distracted by, our new way of life. And it seems like Scott just went on the back burner and people started forgetting about him. But 1 year later, on the anniversary of his passing, police decide to release some evidence. Arlington County released a video and 3 surveillance images of a person of interest seen leaving the area while wearing a mask before that was a thing. I really can't get over the fact that this person was wearing a face mask before it was even a thing, because you and I, we're so used to wearing face masks now and seeing people wearing them, but this person was seen with a face mask on before anyone was talking about it. I mean, January 17th, COVID and stuff really didn't start picking up until late February, maybe early March. So this person was wearing a mask. And I feel like if someone out there knows someone who would have been wearing a mask in early 2020, maybe late in 2019, that could be a good hint to the type of person this is. Police released a description of the person and claims this is a white male approximately 5'6" to 5'8" in height, weighing 150 to 175 pounds, dressed in all black, carrying a black backpack and walking with his feet turned inward, often referred to as pigeon-toed gait. Detectives would like to identify and speak with this individual. I don't love that they just say it's a male because a lot of people online believe that this could also be a female, like a smaller woman, and if you go on the blogs, you will see that it's about 50-50. I mean, a lot of people think that this could be a woman, but let's go ahead and look at this footage that police released. So here's the footage, and one thing that really irks me here is the fact that they didn't include any timestamps or anything on the clips themselves. Also, they put it in a really weird order. So we'll go ahead and watch this together, and then I'll break down the clips for you guys. So you'll see the person running with their fist closed, going this way, and now you see them walking this way. It's all very fast. Walking this way, that's actually where my old apartment was. Still walking on that road, and I'm going to break down this whole clip to you guys because this is really all we have to work with. And then you're about to see another clip of them running again, and I believe this next clip is actually after the incident went down and they're escaping the crime scene. So let's go ahead and break this down. The reason why I don't love the clip is because they start off with a clip that shows the person running away from the incident. Then they show a clip of the person walking to the incident, and then finally the last clip is them running away. So why wouldn't they put them in order where it's like walking to the incident, then running away? Why would they mix it up like that? So viewing the footage in the correct order, you will see that the individual is walking down Randolph and they seem to be very incognito. They've got a hood up, they've got a face mask on, they even have gloves on which are in their pockets, so I'm not too sure if they have them on at this moment, but you'll notice their walk is very distinctive. It looks like they have a pigeon toe, like a bow leg, and honestly, I thought at the time that they were doing this on purpose, like to try to confuse everyone, and part of me still thinks that, but reading online, a lot of people feel like you cannot make this up, especially when the person's running later on in the video. They still have that pigeon toe situation, so really take a look at their walk, and actually, you will notice later on in this video that they've got a big piece of duct tape on their backpack, and it seems like they're using that duct tape as a way to cover the logo and protect their their identity. So here's what we're working with. So I took a screenshot of the map and I drew a red line of where the person of interest was walking to the building. Right down here is the front of the Ava. So I believe that they were walking from this direction here, and we caught them on camera as they approached the building. They also seemed to be very calm as they were walking there, which would make me think it's before the incident went down and the running happened after the incident. One thing I want to note is, according to the report, the last time we heard from Scott was 1 p.m. And looking at this footage, it seems very bright out. So we've got a window from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And looking at the footage, it looks like, it's probably closer to 1 because it's January. The sun sets a lot earlier in the winter time, and it seems like broad daylight when this happens. Now let's take a look of the clips of the person of interest running away from the crime, because I feel like they entered from the front and left from the back. That's my own hypothesis. So this is actually the same street that we saw them on originally, but it's about a block up. And you will see the person is running with their fist very closed and trying to get away from whatever they just did. So we see them running, seems a little bit stressed, like they're trying to get somewhere, and then crossing the street. This clip ends a lot faster than the other clips. We don't have that much footage there, but I did take a screenshot of the map to show you guys where this person supposedly ran. So here is the bottom of the Ava, and here's that original red line I drew to show you guys where the criminal was walking to the crime scene. As you guys can tell, the building is broken up into 2 wings, and I believe that Scott's was on this wing right here. And I believe the person of interest left the crime scene with this yellow line. They either crossed the street here or maybe right here at the stoplight, and then we picked them up on camera right around here. That's where those 2 last clips come from of the suspect running away. I also drew this green line here because if the person went out the other side of the building, they could have still gone around and went that same path to get them on camera. And there's a lot of parking in this direction, so I feel like whoever did it parked over here and came this way because the metro's in the opposite direction. So if they metroed there, they would have been going the other way. So like I mentioned earlier, I actually went and drove to the building because I wanted to show you guys what we're working with since the police aren't giving us much. So this is where the person of interest was walking down to enter the building. And they would have gone down that road and into here and probably just like slid in behind someone, some DoorDash person or whatever. And there's actually cameras all across this building here. This is probably one of the cameras that caught our person. I think the last clip we saw of them walking towards the building. And then there are more cameras everywhere. So honestly, if you're going to do this type of thing somewhere, this is the worst place to do it because you're definitely going to be caught on camera like they were. And here's the view that you guys see in the footage where they are walking down this road to enter the building. And this is actually the building I used to live in way back in the day over there. So that's where our suspect was when they were approaching the crime. Now let's talk about when they were leaving, because as you guys remember, they were running away with their fists clenched. So this is where that person would have been running away, and right here is actually that overlay of glass where if you look at the footage, you'll see the reflection on the ground. That's what's showing there. And again, the sun was very bright when the person was running away, which makes me think that they got the job done pretty quickly, because if they heard from him from 1 p.m. and the person ran away and it was still bright out, I would say they definitely left by 4, maybe 3. They could have gotten done with just 2 hours. But again, this is where they were when they were running away, and they actually go down this road some more, and that's when we capture them crossing the street. And there are tons of cameras everywhere. I don't quite understand how they only have these few video clips, because there is so much footage out there and there are so many cameras all across Boston. It doesn't really make sense to me. So it seems like they ran that way up the street, and that's one of the cameras that caught them. Again, so many cameras everywhere. I don't know how you escape anything. And then this is actually where the man ran away for the last time. Man, maybe. We also think it could be a woman. So I don't want to rule that out since nobody knows anything. Actually, there was this one woman right here crossing the street when I was filming, and she almost got hit, but then the car was very nice and let her go. And that's exactly where that man ran, or that suspect ran. And I think that this is the camera that caught them there. I believe I mentioned this earlier, but when I went to visit the building, I decided to try to break in, and the footage is very messy, but I'm going to go ahead and include it for you guys to see how easy it would be to enter this building, and none of the employees had any questions for me. So now I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to enter into this building. So obviously I'm not a resident at all. I've never been a resident before, and it doesn't seem like their security measures have gotten much better. So let's go ahead and see if I can get inside. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to just walk right in, but I could at least wait for someone to walk out and we can go from there. So let's see if this is locked. Okay. And oh. Thank you. So it was very easy to enter the building and go right past everyone. And you could just walk along. Very easy to enter the building. A little bit too easy. And I know the elevators are towards the end. So let's go see if we could get up one of those, because sometimes those are fob controlled. So, yeah, it looks like if we wanted to go anywhere in this building, we could, and there's no protection. So I actually don't want to go there. So this is where I actually believe that this person left the building after they took Scott's life, because there's this random hallway, and there's a few of these in this building where they just lead out to the public and you could leave without a fob or anything. And I was able to enter this building just through a door right by the elevator, and I have a feeling if I could just do it, then that person could too. And they probably ran outside of this and then ran across the street, and that's when we captured them on camera, because there aren't any cameras right here in this little secluded part. So they would have turned the corner and then ran down that street, probably back to their car. Now let's go ahead and go through some pictures we have of this person of interest and someone you guys may know and maybe could help bring justice for Scott. I know we keep going back and forth on male or female, and that's really important, but we truly cannot tell here. But what we can tell is that this person seemed to be very prepared, because they have a face mask, which again at that time was not popular, and I think that's very odd. They're also in all black, and it seems like they have like a waterproof jacket on them. Something I did notice is that they have white shoes on, and I feel like if they were at an incident that had a lot of like blood and stuff, there probably would be dirty. I don't quite understand like how he would have been able to clean it up, or she could clean it up. I mean, the apartment did smell like bleach, so maybe if they did clean up after the mess, they just cleaned themselves up. You also will notice that there is duct tape on the backpack, which is, I guess, trying to hide the brand of it, maybe trying to keep this person, you know, unrecognizable, which they didn't do a great job at that. But seeing the person have duct tape on their backpack, seeing them wear gloves, have a hood, a mask, and everything, definitely makes me believe that this was premeditated. You don't just randomly have a piece of duct tape to like slap on your backpack and everything if this all happened out of nowhere. Keep in mind, guys, that this person is supposedly 5'6" to 5'8", and Scott was a lot bigger than this person. So it makes me question, how were they able to take him down in the first place? This response is supposedly from the family, and they shared, "I'm not too sure how much of this I can answer, but I do not believe that he was sleeping, nor do I believe it was a robbery gone wrong. I believe the attacker caught Scott off guard." A lot of people are wondering what could be in that backpack. Like, is that a change of clothes? Are there devices in there that would have been taking Scott's life? A lot of people actually in blogs were like, what about the trash chutes? Because in these buildings, they've got trash chutes and you could just toss something down there and forget about it. But I think that this person was a lot smarter than that, and they came prepared for this. I mean, if they're blocking out their backpack and things like that, they know what they're getting into. And I don't think they would have made a mistake by dropping some evidence down the trash chute, especially when they cleaned up after themselves. Whoever this was, they didn't do the best job at protecting their identity, because you can still tell where their clothing is from. A bunch of internet investigators have been able to identify the backpack as this North Face one, and some others believe they can identify the jacket and the shoes, but the backpack seems to be the most legit. When this footage was released, Scott's father actually did some press to talk about his son's passing.
That we go through life, we see things and we feel things, and things that remind us every single day of the loss. When I see other men with their sons, you know, when I see families, we need to learn to live with that burden, but it would be of great help to resolve the who and the why for these events.
It is so extremely heartbreaking that this happened to Scott. I mean, he's got a sister that he was living with, he's got his longtime girlfriend, and so many loved ones who miss him. But the big question is, why? And there are so many conspiracies online, so let me talk through a few of them. One, people think that maybe Scott was targeted because he could have been part of an FBI or some intel agency, and maybe there was like a hitman that was ordered to go and get him. I mean, he is a professional out here, and maybe he's got access to some government data that people want. But actually, the family claims that he did not work at any of these special agencies, and it doesn't seem like he would have been targeted over his workplace. Some others believe that the person who took Scott's life was jealous of him. I mean, he was successful, he's good looking, he's got a lot of friends, and maybe this person just did not like him and wanted to end his life because it's very premeditated. And a lot of times when it comes to premeditation, there's a good reason why. They either really don't like them or maybe they really like their girlfriend. And I'm not even going to try to drag her into this, but I did see some blog posts and they were like, maybe it has to do with her. I mean, they were on and off for like 9 years and stuff. But I don't even want to take the time to look into that because she's been very heartbroken over all of this. Of course, everyone has, and I don't think that she's truly involved. What I find really odd is how the police is handling this, or maybe the lack of handle, because it seems like they have no control over this investigation or any idea what they're doing. I mean, I've seen other cases that are similar to Scott's and they get solved very quickly. So what's going on with the police here? And why don't we know anything? The manner of death was never reported. I mean, at one point we're like cardiac arrest, then we're like, oh no, his life was taken, but we don't know how. Was it a knife? Was it a weapon? Like, what could have actually done the damage? And those details are very important to this crime and identifying what type of person this would be. I don't understand logistically how this person was able to get away with it in such a popular place, in such a popular building with so many people there, and taking away a popular person's life. I mean, a lot of people know Scott, a lot of people love Scott, and they want justice for him. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because it's felt very personal to me. I mean, I was never really close friends with him, but I've always known of him. I've had friends who are friends of him, and he was always really kind. And I don't know why he would have been targeted over other people or over what. In the comments below, I'm going to link a blog and an Instagram page you guys can follow to help bring awareness to Scott's case. And if you know any information, please feel free to reach out to the Arlington Police or the Instagram page that is fighting for justice for Scott, because I just wanted to tell this story. I've been wanting to tell this story for so long because it's so uneasy to me, and I feel like there is a way to solve this, just people aren't doing the right thing. Maybe if the police and everyone wasn't being so stingy with evidence, we would understand more and people can put things together. I mean, the internet is an extremely powerful place, and I would love to see some justice brought. So thank you guys for watching this video. Rest in peace, Scott, and sending blessings to their family. Bye, guys.